Ladies and gentlemen, let me reintroduce you to Hossein Taeb. Just call him Taeb, or you can call him, I don't know, bathroom towel around his head, whatever you want. This guy is now the head of the Basij. And you guys know who the Basij is. He's the commander of the Basij now. The Basij are the orcs. They're the retards who hold weapons in the streets and they kill people. That's what they do. They're drugged up. You can't reason with them. They're heavily indoctrinated on purpose from boyhood to follow the supreme leader's orders without question. They're the orcs. He is now the commander of that force. Armin, what position did this guy serve before, and where has he been all this time? What's he been up to?
So, guys, if you remember a couple of months ago, I told you to remember Hossein Taeb. Hossein Taeb has been the link between the Office of the Supreme Leadership and the IRGC intelligence. Okay. He is the best friend and the most trusted person by the person most trusted by Mojtaba. He was part of the Habib circle from the Iran-Iraq war, right? So Mojtaba Khamenei and Hossein Taeb, when they were at war, they both were in the military during the Iran-Iraq war. They were part of the Habib battalion in 1987, right? So Mojtaba Khamenei was there, and that's when Mojtaba and this guy they created something after called the Habib Circle. So Hossein Taeb has been Mojtaba Khamenei's right-hand man and one of the most important influential people within the Islamic Republic. When Ali Khamenei was alive, Mojtaba Khamenei for a long time was basically doing everything behind the scenes, and Hossein Taeb was the one who was doing it for him. They basically created a brotherhood within the circle that went and eliminated everybody that was against them, all the reformers and all the Iranian people, anything that anybody that was in their way, they would eliminate them physically, kill them, right? And this guy did it for Mojtaba. This guy has served both in the Supreme Leadership Office and the IRGC intelligence until they pushed him and they moved him because of failure in intelligence because of the Israel. He was removed from his position. But now, when Mojtaba became the supreme leader, I told you that this guy is probably the real supreme leader behind the scenes. And now you see that he's back. I told you he will be back. I told you he's going to be important. And now you're seeing that this is happening. So the security issues, setbacks that this guy had was in 2022. And that's why they basically removed him from his position because of some of the things that he did that couldn't push back against Israel. But now
So,
it's interesting.
so I have a question for you. So you're saying this guy could potentially be the shadow supreme leader?
Yes, yeah. When Ali Khamenei was alive and Mojtaba Khamenei was alive, this guy did everything that Mojtaba wanted to do. He was his right hand man
So
with all the connections. And
So
now,
this was the guy who got to shadow and see everything that the supreme leader would do. He connected the supreme leader's office to the intelligence gathering operation in the Islamic Republic. He knows exactly how everything works. That's what you're saying, right?
yes. And now his position, the position that he has been received, that he has now, indicates something very important, right? So here's a question for you guys, right? There were so many positions that now that the supreme leadership I told you guys that Ghalibaf has the upper hand, and I always followed by saying for now, because the reason why I said for now, because I knew that at some point the office of supreme leadership will get its act together and use their soft power to regain control back over who's actually making the decisions, right? And now that day has arrived, and the office of the supreme leadership, this is their most important person that they have. So they could have given him so many different positions. They could have put him as the head of the National Security Council. They could have put him as the head of intelligence within IRGC. They could have given him so many different important positions, but they gave him the head of Basij. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? That the most important leverage, the most important figure within the Supreme Leadership Office is now being put at the head of Basij. What does that tell you guys? Anybody?
Yeah, guys, what do you think they're preparing for?
Anybody? Oh, yes, exactly. Look at this. They fear Iranians. Yes, somebody's saying they fear Iranians more than Israel. It means that their number one concern right now is an uprising. It's the next uprising from both sides, from the secular minded Iranians, but also from their own jihadi minded Iranians.
So, Armin, they appointed the guy who has the most know-how, not only about the internal factions of the Islamic Republic, but also how to suppress the people, and has had the knowledge of just everything. This guy's most knowledgeable person at the moment. They put him in charge to suppress, and I'm going to end my sentence there, suppress, period. Suppress both the regime supporters and the Iranian people. Both of them, guys. That's what they're prepping for.
Right. Yeah. That's where they think the threat is. And you know what is why also they think an uprising is, they're really concerned about uprising, because they think that the war is over and United States is focusing on the blockade and absolute economic fury on the Islamic Republic. So that means that the economic situation in Iran is going to get worse and worse. And that means that it's going to cause sparks that might cause the next uprising. So they are preparing for an inside threat rather than an external threat. That's what they're preparing for.
The Islamic Republic hilariously believes that they are winning this. Genuinely, guys. They do. I'm not kidding. And they're not fooling themselves either. They genuinely, at this point, think that they're winning. They think they caught the United States between a rock and a hard place. Trump can't back out. The price of oil is skyrocketing. The US is running out of oil, et cetera, et cetera. And they're not going to negotiate with Trump over the Strait of Hormuz, because if they do, that allows Trump to basically find a way out of this. They want to keep him right here. Armin, why is that good news? Why is it good news that the Islamic Republic will not back down? They want to keep Trump in this stalemate. They see as stalemate as a victory, and they will not talk or give in. Why is that good news?
That means that we're not going to get a deal, that we're farther away. I think that's what you're saying, that we're farther away from it. We don't want a deal with the Islamic Republic. And all of this shows that we're not getting closer to a deal. We're always getting farther away from a deal.
Yeah. And it also means, let me know if you agree with this or not, but it also means that this forces Donald Trump's hand. And I'm going to tie this into something else. Donald Trump, I put some pieces together. Donald Trump genuinely believed that a deal was possible with the Islamic Republic. I think he was at some point going for a Delcy Rodriguez. I think he found Ghalibaf in the Islamic Republic and said, that's my man. He can pull everything together, and then the Islamic Republic maybe a few years later will collapse and everything's fine and dandy, whatever. Maybe that was his goal. But anyway, he was looking for a deal at some point. Now, I don't know who in his administration really pushed him to do it. Was it J.D. Vance? Was it someone else? I don't know. I don't really care at this point. But Bibi Netanyahu made a visit to the White House a couple weeks ago, right? He came in and he was anxious. Sorry, go on.
I don't know if the Islamic Republic is that far off. I think they're more rational than people assume. And I think even if they're wrong and something is happening behind the scenes that me and you don't know about, the current information suggests that, yep, Trump is trying to get out of this. And he doesn't want to escalate, and they don't fear escalation right now. And they're prioritizing the internal threat over the external threat, justifiably. And I don't think that, I'm not saying that there's not going to be an escalation, there might be. But what I'm saying, given all the information out there, I think them thinking that Trump is going to, I don't think their calculation is that they're not forcing Trump's hands to attack. They think Trump is incapable of attacking, at least right now. And again, even if they're wrong, the current information would lead you to that conclusion that Trump is trying to find a way out. And if that is wrong, then the Americans have done an amazing job hiding it. But the current information will lead you to that conclusion, justifiably lead you to that conclusion.
And so they're not fooling themselves. The Islamic Republic genuinely believes that they have the upper hand now. And if you looked at just the economic front, maybe you could spin it in a way that they could. You could ignore the fact that the Islamic Republic is falling apart economically, all of that. And I don't know how long they can hold on. But they're completely ignoring the fact that like half the United States military is parked right outside their borders. Their plan is Donald Trump wants a way out. We're not going to give him one. Midterms are rolling up in a couple months. Let's put the pressure on Donald. Let's not let him back out. Let's keep him in limbo. If we need to say we'll negotiate, we'll say it. Just keep him here. Donald Trump knows this. I think he figured it out a few weeks ago. These people they have good teams on both sides, by the way. They have good information. They figured this out. Donald Trump stopped trying to talk to the Islamic Republic. I genuinely believe he stopped trying to talk to them. I think these messages are mostly aimed at the other countries around Iran recently. And so Donald Trump did believe he can make a deal. Then, and I am respecting President Trump. I don't think I just said anything disrespectful. Bibi Netanyahu visited Donald Trump a couple weeks ago. Bibi came in anxious. People reported he looked anxious. His team looked anxious. They were anxious. He comes in, has his meeting with Donald Trump, leaves. The people are like, wow, he walked out very happy. He actually looked happy for once. And it turns out, at least this is what I think, Bibi went in thinking Donald Trump was still looking for a deal with the Islamic Republic. Israel knows you cannot make a deal. They were worried that Donald Trump and the United States might want to make a deal. He walks in, finds out Donald Trump gave up on making the deal, walks out happy. He's like, all right, great. And Israeli intelligence knows that the Islamic Republic very well. And they know that their plan, they have people on the inside. They know the Islamic Republic's plan before the Islamic Republic knows their plan. I'm not exaggerating. So when the Islamic Republic is like, okay, guys, let's keep the US in limbo for as long as possible, Israel's like, look, Donald, this is what they're going to do. You know that, right? And he's like, yeah, I can't make a deal with them anymore. Okay, great. So if the Islamic Republic is going to pressure you into the midterms, make you fail the midterms, aren't you going to do something before then? Why not use the military power that you have? And we got back to two options. We got use the military power to completely destroy the Islamic Republic, or we got just use enough to force them back to the negotiating table and extend this for longer. I'm leaning more towards he's just going to finish them off. If he does strike, it's going to be an all-out strike. I don't see the point of waiting any longer. The strategy is clear. The Islamic Republic is not going to talk. They're not going to negotiate. In fact, they want you to suffer economically like this. And it's actually the same strategy that Saddam Hussein had. Escalate, put pressure on the world, think that this escalation is going to make you untouchable. Never, ever was that going to save Saddam Hussein. It got him hung. Armin, was there anything that I just said that maybe stood out to you?
No, pretty good explanation. I just think internally we're about to hit a major escalation and a civil war. The internal civil war is going to keep spreading. There is no unifying factor like Ali Khamenei to be able to clean up this mess. And we're just going to be swinging between different fraction of the Islamic Republic having upper hand in different times. And the difference between now and a few years ago is we told people that this is happening and nobody believed it. Most people didn't believe it. And now everybody's believing it because it's happening in front of our eyes. The fact that Kharazi came out and said that Rezai is now is going to be replacing Zolgadr in the National Security Council, and first they denied it, then they accepted it, then they denied it again, and then they announced it, is what the hell is going on? Basically, the civil war is undeniable, not just by us, but the pro-regime people. The pro-regime people are seeing something that we were seeing for the past couple of years, and it's now happening in front of our eyes. And because the pro-regime people are seeing the civil war right in front of their eyes without it being denied, people thought we were imagining these things. For so many years, people thought we were imagining these things. And now that it's happening, people are like, holy crap, you guys were right, because they can't hide it anymore. But we went from people not seeing it at all, then people seeing it, but the regime denying it. And now we are to the point that the escalation is so much that they can't even deny it anymore. It's out there open and everybody sees it. So it's hard for pro-regime people to have faith in the regime because the regime is taking action against the regime. So, and the only part that you could have full faith in is the supreme leader, and the supreme leader is not even showing up. By the way, a lot of people are saying that maybe he's getting ready to show up because he's prepared everything for his return now. We'll see if he's actually alive or not.
If you watch Fox News, they'll tell you that there's hardliners and moderates, and that's the extent of the fight within the Islamic Republic. If you watch us, that there's not just hardliners and moderates, which to us is just BS. It doesn't mean anything. Hardliners, moderates, what does that even mean? They're all the same. That people in the Islamic Republic have their own personal goals and ambitions. You can see exactly how these things have gotten to this point, and you can fully understand how there is no way that the Islamic Republic is going to come out unscathed. It's more of like a which part of our body do we need to cut off to stay alive? That's what they're deciding. And they're fighting to decide which part they're going to cut off. They can't even decide. I think we did that really well, Armin. I think we did over the past couple of months. I think we talked about this the most out of anyone else, and it may have been boring for you guys, but it looks like at the very least we understand really who is what and who will do what within the Islamic Republic. So when we tell you guys this new mullah is now appointed to the commander of the Basij, we can tell you, boom, snap, exactly what this guy wants, exactly what he's going to do, and exactly what's going to happen. You only put this guy in place when you're afraid people from within the government are going to rebel against the Islamic Republic, their own people, and at the same time, the Iranian people. And that's called what, Armin? That's the term that you coined.
Or the double uprising.
Correct. That's where we're going.
And this guy is the person in charge of stopping that as the head of the
Yes.
Basij now.
This is his job now.
Guys, think about this. Nobody has been mentioning Hossein Taeb at all in any other media that you watch. And we mentioned them, and people are like, who the hell is Hossein Taeb? And now he's here as the head of the Basij.
Yeah. When we put this guy in the top 5 people who need to die within the Islamic Republic, and people are like, who is that? Why not put someone else? We're like, this guy knows too much. He needs to go.
Yeah, he has a lot of experience with intelligence. This guy has been in charge of eliminating so many people who have been standing, have been an obstacle in the way of Mojtaba. Not in the way of the Islamic Republic, but Mojtaba specifically. This guy has been killing not just the Iranian people, but people within the Islamic Republic. This guy has, I think this man is responsible for killing Hashemi Rafsanjani, the former president of the Islamic Republic. I think he killed him.
Could be.
In his pool.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. So he's a guys, this is a Khamenei loyalist. He's like their custodian.
Mojtaba Khamenei loyalist, not
Yeah.
not Ali Khamenei loyalist, because he was kicked out by Ali Khamenei.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's like the custodian of Mojtaba Khamenei, like the caretaker of everything affairs wise.
So it's interesting. Somebody's saying, but this guy would never call Mossad. Actually, there's somebody Iranian jail that put an audio message out there that said, that's claimed in that audio message, a leaked audio message that came out, that claimed that this guy is Mossad's #1 spy in the Islamic Republic. I'm not saying that that's true, but that guy said, I have definite evidence that shows that this guy is Mossad's #1 guy within the regime. And I don't know if that is true, but if it is, then holy hell, because this
And let's
guy,
talk
it
about
doesn't
that.
get, yeah.
And let's talk about that.
If
Armin, oh my God, Armin, if what you said is true, and
yes.
this guy, who by the way is now the commander of the Basij, guys, think of how significant that is. The guy now in charge of killing the Iranian people could be a Mossad spy. And that when the next uprising, which will be the uprising to overthrow the Islamic Republic, happens, if the commander of the killing force is a insider of the favorite conspiracy
I
theory
mean,
of the day, there we go, we got
I mean,
ours.
yeah, he's the head of the Basij, the most influential person when it comes to IRGC intelligence, and the person completely within the circle of the Supreme Leadership Office right now.
Yeah. So, so it goes Basij.
Also,
yeah.
and also as the head of the Basij, Ali, he's also going to be in charge of managing the street protests, right? So think about it. This guy is has influence over 3 of the 4 parts of the Islamic Republic. And the 4th part now, Mojtaba is trying to control with Rezai in the Security Council, right? So there are 4 parts of the Islamic Republic: the Office of the Supreme Leadership, the IRGC, the ideological pressure camp people, the Paidari camp people, and the negotiation facing track. So now the Supreme Leadership Office is now coming back with full force, right? So they have control over themselves, obviously, and Hossein Taeb is also deep inside the Office of the Supreme Leadership. He is also very much connected to, was in charge of IRGC intelligence, so he has that connection. As head of the Basij, he's going to be maintaining control over the street protests of the ideological pressure camp people. So that's 3 out of 4. The 4th one, they removed Zolqadr. So Ghalibaf was trying to take control over how the negotiations are happening by getting the National Security Council as the main decision-making institution that is basically deciding how the war and the negotiations go. They removed Zolqadr from the Security Council and they put Rezai in there. Rezai is now Mojtaba's man within the Security Council to reduce Ghalibaf's control over how the negotiations go and how the war goes. So 4 out of 4.
The cardboard gay supreme leader
Strikes
has
back.
now once again, assumed control. The game of Durka.
Well, gained more control, not complete control. So the cardboard strikes back, I guess.
He's back on top now.
Yes.
So
we'll see. For now. Always for
again,
now.
Yes, guys, this is a internal struggle for power.
My name is Armin Navabi. I'm an Iranian political analyst with decades of experience fighting the Islamic regime inside and outside of Iran. Make sure you follow me for more, and also make sure you join our discussion group. I'm there almost every single day. Come talk to me there and the rest of the people there in our group calls. It's a great place to meet and talk to people who like talking about politics. The link is in the description and or in the bio. You could also get there by scanning the QR code on the screen. See you there.